Good morning, Rabbi Sai. Leilu Nishmas Mordche. We'll start off with a picture from the Vart last night. Dovi Friedman is here. No. Ellie's not here. Forchheim is here. So the Chassan is 3 from the right. Eli Dolinsky is 2 from the right. Shapsei Cohen all the way on the right. Rabbi Geffen on the left. Forchheim on the second to left. And Rabbi Cohen, who is our new guy in the house, is 3rd from the left, 4th from the right. Great. Reuven Wolf, Rebelli, now that you had a 30-minute video with the Nazir, Rabbi Sai, if it's possible, I don't want to repeat myself every day to the same people, but now that you had a 30-minute video with the Nazir, many people are unaware that it might be Aser and definitely not advisable to become a Nazir. Please do a video with a Gadol that clearly teaches us that becoming a Nazir is not recommended. Okay, so when I did interview him on Motzei Shabbos, I finished off saying I don't recommend or not recommend. You ask your local rabbi. It's controversial. And that's how I left it off. Marvin Diamond. After learning Nedarim and half a Nazir, we have decided that we don't need to learn either Masechtas since we know now not to do either one. So he knows not to do. So we don't need any Gdolim. The kids had a whole idea that instead of learning the rest of the Masechta, we go on a cruise. Givaldik. Yoni Heimowitz. I like his email. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but his email is Chacham2. For your information, grapes don't grow on trees. Grapes grow on vines. And vines grow on trees. Nice way to shtach the Panovich. Dear Rebbe, as Rebbe mentioned in shiur the other day, Perek Beis Shammai many times, early this morning while learning, I realized that I got a kiss from Hashem. I was learning Beis Shammai and Zvachim. The Olam here is holding in all of Shas, Zvachim and Nazir. And then he says, may we all feel constantly in our lives kisses from Hashem and taste the sweetness of Hashem's Torah, Talmud, Aaron, Shalom, herbs. And yesterday I mentioned the bells in Switzerland. So Eli Friedman said he has a video. Now you can understand what it feels like to be a cow. Put up the volume really loud. And it's slightly annoying, I would think. Here we go. Oh, it's... For some reason... Oh, here we go. Volume. There is no volume. Okay, Yoseph will put the volume. See that helps? Okay. For whatever reason, maybe this new way of doing it doesn't work. Attached some of the young MDY. I don't know if this is going to work. They're saying many London in Leeds, UK, the annual Shasathon, over 200 people attended, finishing the entire Shas in a day. And here it goes. Let's try the volume one more time. No. It doesn't work like this. Avrami, we need help. You want to try something out here? Maybe there's a...
By you?
No, somebody set up this thing here.
Oh, we have a video. You can see who it is. Oh. Is it good? Should we do it now or not? Let's see. Oh, the cows, yeah, here. You definitely can hear the cows. Put it on real loud. Imagine you're this Bria. Imagine living your life like this. It's a shtickle annoying. Okay. The koil is sponsored by Anon Ymous from Lakewood. The second koil sponsor, may supporting Torah strengthen our bitachon. The Masechta is sponsored by Maaser. The second sponsor is Leilu Nishmas Chaya Bas Yosef by Anon Ymous. The sponsor of the month, MDY family, Nishmas, Boruch, Helfgott, Zechariah, Bercha, Ben ybl'c, Mordche, Shloima. The second sponsor of the month, Nishmas, Zechariah, Ben Moshe. The third sponsor of the monthly Nishmas Moshe ben Yehuda by his community, by Anon Ymous from Flatbush for continued bracha, mazel, and clarity. That came after yesterday's shiur. Shelly, Golombeck, LiZaicher, Nishmas, PinChas ben Moshe, Yoseph. And by Dovi Friedman in honor of Shaya Hecht for bringing me to the shiur and recovery for ones who need. The art of the month for a complete refuah for Chaim Tzvi ben Leah. Rabbi said we're looking for a volunteer to monitor the MDY Zoom sessions for kids, make sure that everything is kosher v'yasher, that the kids are participating, there's no bombers, etc., etc. If anybody's interested, please contact Yosef and Avi. Don't contact Avi. Okay, Avi.
And people still sign up for MDY Kids, is that right?
You can still sign up for MDY Kids, I'm sure. Where do you go? MDYkids.com?
And until the Zoom is set up,
Yeah.
they're going to watch the video by themselves, and we're going to send them the questions.
Until the Zoom thing is set up, hopefully very, very soon, we're going to send them questions and we'll trust them. Okay? Rabbi said yesterday, what's your name, by the way? Shalom Aleichem. I met you many times. What's your name?
Israel Ruff from Brooklyn.
Israel Ruff from Brooklyn. Famous guitarist? Whatever. I heard from a famous guitarist that you're famous. Okay.
I'm infamous.
Wow. Yeah. Who's here? Oh, Shalom Aleichem. What's your name? Stephen Schwartz from?
Muncie, New York.
No, Muncie, New York. What's your name? You're hiding over there. We met. Okay, fine. Yeah. Shalom Aleichem. Okay. Rabbi Sai, as I left yesterday, I asked some people, and I realized that many sugyas, people psych themselves out of the sugya completely. They hear the word riboy miyut riboy, and they go to sleep, they go to their phone. I met a few of those yesterday, and I was a little discouraged by the whole thing. And I'm here to tell you that it's very, very simple. I worked on it to come up with something a little different. I'm not saying that this is it, but maybe this will help a little bit. So yesterday we learned, don't get psyched out by this first chart. It gets better. So these are the things, it's basically the same thing, just in different orders or less. You have klal and prat. We have prat to klal. We have klal, prat, klal. It's like a sandwich made out of klals and a sandwich made out of prats. There's two prats and one klal, two klal, one prat. Okay. Now, I think if we look at it in a logical way, we can understand it better. So let's look at the first one, klal and prat. Generalization, specification. So here it goes. If a guy says to somebody, get me something to eat, that's very general. Get me something to eat. It could be, there's a food truck here, it could be anything. It could be falafel, it could be a steak, it could be schnitzel, it could be anything. So he generalized it. Now, what happens if after his generalization, Rabbi said, think about it. It's a very, very simple question. You have to answer the answer yourself. What happens after he said, get me something to eat? He was very specific and he says, get me a steak. What happens? You have to get him a steak. Why? Because he took the generalization. He said, I'm very hungry, get me something to eat. You know what? Get me a steak. So he got rid of the first klal, the whole generalization. He said, I want a steak. That's very simple. And by the way, almost everything, please don't do that now, almost everything on the charts is going to be that. It's going to be very specific. There's only one difference. Let's see this one. Pratu klal. This is the only difference that we're going to learn today. So again, when a person is very general, I want food, and then he says, give me this type of food, so we go to that type of food. We're very specific, it's a prat. But over here it's the reverse. Think about it logically. He's very specific. He says, I want a steak. And then he says, klal, get me anything. So what does it mean? Over here, also, basically, at the end of the day, the second thing he said erases the first thing he says, and you could get him anything. This is Rabbi Sai, the only case that we have, and we're not really going to be talking about it. This is the only case that we have that it remains a klal. It remains a generalization. All the other cases remain a prat, remain very specific. Now, what's going to happen is, if you have a prat klal, and then you finish it off with a prat, now the guy was very specific twice. That's the strongest one. That's very, very specific. Not the strongest. I shouldn't say the strongest. Klal prat 2 is the strongest. But prat, klal, prat is stronger than klal, prat, klal. It sounds confusing, right? It's not. 2 prats and 1 klal is stronger than 1 prat. When I'm specific to the guy twice. Here, we'll see it here. Look in the chart. By the way, we're already holding in chart 11 and here chart 12. Klal, prat, klal. So over here, how many times was he specific? Once. That's not as, it's still very specific, but not as specific as if there were 2 prats in the same sentence. Are you with me, Shimon? Don't lose me yet, Shimon. Klal, get me anything. Yeah, we're good so far? What are you saying? Not yet? Yeah? I'm going to go backwards. No. It's not your fault. It's Akiva's fault. Next time, make him part. Okay, but anyways, I don't care where you came in. You're not checking out here. It's very, very simple. Very. A guy says, get me anything to eat. So what does anything to eat mean? Anything. You come off the truck, whatever comes off the truck. Now he's specific. He says, I want a steak. And then Rabbi said, let's think about this ourselves. He says, get me anything to eat. Then he explains himself. I want a steak. And then he says, I want anything to eat. So what does logically speaking, how do you view what he says? It has to be within the steak, something like a steak. It's anything but like a steak. Give me anything. So Memela, I'm going to get him, let's say, protein, maybe schnitzel. I'm not going to go to pizza. I'm not going to go to cucumbers. I'm going to try to stick within what he specified. So again, he was specification, not specification, generalization, specification, generalization. He said, "Give me anything." Then he said a word here. Wait, we can't ignore what he said. He said, "Give me a steak." But then he generalized again. He said, "Give me anything." So I'm going to say, you know what? When he meant steak, didn't mean mamish steak. He meant, give me some fleischiks. Give me something geschmack. Go to a fleischik restaurant, give me something good. Give me schnitzel, give me this, give me something good. Okay, keep on moving. We're 19 already. Now you have 2 specifications. He's very, very mefaret. What's the case? Steak, everything, and then what's the third thing? No. Schnitzel. Because the Torah doesn't repeat itself. The Torah is not going to say, Anovim, anything from a geffen, Anovim. So what the Torah does is, Anovim, anything from the geffen tree, and then chartzanim. So it's similar to, get me a steak, get me anything, get me a schnitzel. But he was more specific over here. So here's special. Get me a steak. So you get him steak. No, when is he coming? Tonight. He's coming in specifically for MDY kids to see him tonight, Rabbi Isai. It's a big simcha. It was a smashing success for the kids. And Be'ez Hashem, we're continuing Tainus. We're continuing Tainus around the world. And maybe we'll do Tainus again after Pesach. Anything to eat. So it means anything. But then he was specific. Chart 24 already. Get me a schnitzel. Only 50. Today is a 50-day chart. Sorry, Yosef. But they're all in order. Get me a schnitzel. So what do we do here? Now we have to be more specific. Because he did 2 prats, as the Gemara is going to say at the end, the difference between 2 prats or 2 klaus and 1 prat is that we narrow it down slightly more. Now it's not just, it has to be very similar to the steak. It has to be protein, has to taste good, whatever. We have to narrow it down one more step instead of 2 steps.
Steak bone.
Maybe. Do it anything you want. This is general. This is not, don't be medayik in my charts and ask me kashas. Now, the only difference, hold on a second. The only difference between a klal and a prat and a rib and a miyot, there's hardly a difference. They're learning the same words in the Torah. Geffen, anovim, whatever. We're learning the same words. We're using different ways to characterize those words. One is a klal, and we call this a riboy. And what the Gemara had yesterday is a one ribui and one miyut, not three, not a ribui miyut ribui, it was a ribui. So check this out. By the way, this cart, I spoke to Yoshi about this cart. I just want to show you real quickly. This cart was hand drawn, and for a very specific reason, because if you take that as a clip art off the internet, then you can't paste a food item into the cart. It'll either be in front of the cart or in back of the cart. Check this out. He put it in the middle of the cart. It's in the cart. So he had to develop this by himself. He had to draw this cart. I'm just saying, there's a lot of work that goes into this stuff that people don't realize. Now, if you look at this,
He even did these really correct that all four wheels move.
all four wheels turn. The Israelis are geniuses. You want to know how to mess up a woman while she shops? You give all four wheels move. So she's constantly going. If only the front wheels move like in America and other countries, then she could control it. But if there's four wheels, that means it's impossible to control. We have hundreds of pounds on it. So these people, they start going to the front of it, so then the tail end wags out. It's a whole matter. Why they developed it like that, we don't know. Nobody knows. They shop the same amount in all countries. Just mistama, the wheels that turn are more expensive, so they decided to buy more wheels that are expensive. We don't know. Nobody knows pshat yet. But in every supermarket in Eretz Yisrael, the only country in the world, it's a four-wheel turning machine.
I never find the car with four wheels work.
They don't work. They have a secret joke we don't know. Nobody knows. If anybody knows the answer to that, please write Yosef or Avi after shiur. It's very important to know that. Because she also may give an ayin. If you look closely at this, it's hard to see, but it's literally all the products that we discussed yesterday. There's the branch sticking up all the way on the right. There's the shoots. There's the skins. There's grape juice. There's wine. Oh, thank you. There's the immature grapes in there. There's vinegar. Everything. Every grape product you could imagine. And then when we go to the miyot, what happens in miyot? Miyot is very interesting. Miyot only removes one item from the cart. What are you going to remove? The furthest thing from food, which is the branch. If you do a klal and a prat, then you remove more items. You can remove 3 items. You can remove leaves, seeds, branches. But now that you're using the ribui meat, why does he use ribui meat? Nobody knows. Kacha, he decided LiZaicher does ribui meat. We don't know. Sometimes he uses klal, prat, klal. There might be a little bit of explanation. The bottom line is, but what is the difference? I'm only going to take away one thing. Next, we're in 28 already. We don't have to learn anything. We're just doing charts. No, because Rabbi said, I can't have the oilam go home and I don't know what just happened. Klal, prat, klal, prat, klal, klal, prat, klal. It's a whole mix. Okay, fine. Prat, klal, prat. This is. So here, this is if you don't do ribui miyut, you do klal, prat, klal, like the Tanakama. So Yayin v'sheichar adds wine and aged wine. It's very specific. Klal, you add everything in from wine. And what happens when you do a prat afterwards? You're going to take out how much? A bunch of stuff. Whatever is not similar to the klal. And here it goes. Boom. The leaf flew away. Now we're left with the other products. Okay. In this case, we got rid of shoots and a branch, and that's it. Okay, fine. That's it. Now we get to see the sugi inside. We're holding by, what is it? The first line where it gets wide. Lamed Dalet Amud Beis. Rabbi say Lamed Dalet Amud Beis. Yeah, a little bit better, Shimon. Shkoya. That's it. Now you can get back into the game. Ma prat. This is very easy now. Now it's going to flow. Ma prat mefoirish pri upsoilas pri. Just like you told me that the specific item in the Torah we're talking about a grape. It's a pri. Upsoilas pri, and that we explained means the waste of a fruit. What's the waste of a fruit? Vinegar of the. Avkol pri, so now that you're going to include other stuff, it has to be a pri, it has to be a fruit, upsoil's pri. So now the Gemara just explains what we explained yesterday. Pri, inve. What's the actual fruit? Grape. Psoil's pri, mai. Here, you check it out on the chart. We had this already yesterday. Mai, Choimetz, sorry, not yet. I've called pri, so what do we add? Mai, guarki, the immature grapes. I've called the psoilus pri. And then what's the other thing that we're going to add that's a waste of a pri? Mai, Amrav Kana, Lasui, Imve, Dichrin, wormy grapes. So if a Nazir eats the wormy grapes, he's also over. Vadzog, Amrav Lasui, the Bain, Habeinayim. So it says, from Chartzanim, I mean, we could have done 51 charts, but I'm serious. There were other charts. I just decided it's exaggerated. We're already at 33 here. But michartzanim at zag, I'll just make a chart here. You have the chartzanim and zag. You have the seeds and the peels, and it says ad in between from here to here. What's from here to here? So the Gemara says the bein benayim. So one pshat is the pulp. What's between a peel and a seed? Pulp. But that's not good, says Tosfos. I believe that's how the art scroll learns it, but that's not good. Tosfos says that that's an anav. That's a grape. Pulp is what's pulp? Pulp is a grape. What else is a grape? The grape has a peel, a seed, and edible fruit inside. You tell me pulp? That can't be pulp, unless I didn't understand what the word pulp is in the art scroll. Says Tosfos, it means a grape that grows within a cluster of grapes that's never going to grow to be a mature grape. And it's worse, he says, than boiser, which are immature grapes. You have immature grapes that they had potential once upon a time to be mature grapes, like in the picture over here. But you have a tiny grape somehow in between the clusters. Those are goners. It didn't get the light, says Reb Nachman. It's a goner to begin with. It never started. Tosfos makes a dakas dikachiluk. Doesn't like the art scroll. Doesn't like Tosfos. They say pulp. Fine. Omar Mar. Again, Ima Prad Meforish Prigomer, I've called Prigomer. Wait a minute, but you told me it's a grape, and a grape is a pure geschmack of fruit. So why are you coming to include things that are not so ready and ripe, like immature grapes, wormy grapes? Says Gemara, because we have no choice. We had this yesterday. What else could you add? There's nothing. We're talking about a grape tree, a grapevine. What else? The moist and the dry, it's mufurish in the pasuk. Vinegar and wine, mufurish. And you can't try to ask me a question. Maybe it means a pre-gomor, and it must mean stam a pre. But once I'm going to add everything, so then, what do I do with the chartzanim va'adzog? I'm including everything already. So why does the Torah put the chartzanim zag over there? Loy malach. Anytime you only have two words, two things, a specification and a generalization, a prat and a klal. You can't say that it's that the klal, the generalization. I say steak, and then I say everything. So don't say that everything means it's like the steak. It's not like the prat. It says no, everything. So if I have a steak, and then I say not steak, get me anything, so it's anything. And by Nazir we have a prat and a klal and a prat, and that's why I learned from there. The chartzanim is a very specific part of the grape, so it's another specification. And then I learned from there that it has to be similar to. Now I narrow it down. Before, if it was just a prat and a klal, let's show this for a second. This is not where. Oh, so prat klal. Now that it says michartzanim v'adzag. Now it's going to explain to me that the klal doesn't generalize everything, but I'll take away a few things from there. I'm not going to be mefar. The prat and the klal work together now. The klal says that it's a lot of stuff, but not everything. By the way, just real quickly, when we're learning this back in the day, I think I said it then, we're talking about seeds and peels. So something very interesting. If this person wants to remember what bracha comes first, from the Shivas Aminim, you have olives, you have grapes, you have pomegranate, you have dates and figs. Which bracha comes first? Very, very interesting. The one that has one seed comes first. The one that has the most seeds goes last. What has one seed? An olive. Oh, a date is larger and it looks like it's split in half. If you look at a date, it looks like 2. That's how you remember. So an olive is 1, a date is 2. Anavim have, 5, 6, so they're 3. That's the third one on the list. Figs have a ton of seeds, but the most is a pomegranate. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in terms of what bracha do you make first. Okay. You heard it from me, and you remember it.
Very nice. Where's that stuff from?
Just a way to remember.
You were going to say the list, the top 2. Then.
Yeah. We don't have time for that. Eretz twice. But yeah, I'm saying, based on that list, how do you...
Where did you see the...
I don't know. It was just the thing. That's what you remember. You remember it like that. Now ask the Gemara. Look, those last words in the prat are already used up already. So if they're used up, I cannot use it for a prat, according to this man Amar. I have prat, klal, prat, only if I have those extra words, but what if I do something with them? As we're going to see soon in a second. As Gemara is going to explain. Chartzanim, plural. 2. Zag is 1. The cow, remember? The cow is a bell, the zag is the outside. 1 skin, 1 outside, 1 zag, 2 insides, 2 seeds. But I need those words to tell me this is Meshunadik Chiddush. It's a beautiful Chiddush. A Nazir is not chayiv if he eats a plate full of skins, only if he adds 2 seeds to that plate full is he chayiv. Big, major Chiddush based on those 3 words. Okay, so they're not extra anymore to tell me prat. Savalek ybl'c the dorish miyot v'riba. Oh, so now says the Gemara in chart 35 that we're going with a ribu miyot. We're going with 2 things. You're right. I only have 2 things, not 3 things. I don't have a ribu miyot ribu. I have ribu miyot, and that's enough to take things out of the cart. 1 thing. So you're allowed to dorish miyot v'riba, v'boisema, kirabanan, and or no. You could say no. I just showed here in the chart that 1 thing comes out. Okay, fine. But it could be we go like Rabbanon. What do Rabbanon say? Klal prat klal. He says, I don't understand. According to Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah, that it's only 2 things, not a prat and a klal, but a miyut and a riboy. So why in the world did the Torah say a bunch of specific items in 1 pasuk, and then go to generalization, and then go to more specific items in the final pasuk? You see? Look right over here. And then all the way at the end, put all the specific things in 1 pasuk. Because anyways, he's not doing a 3-step process. He's only doing a 2-step process. A 2-step process. Put all your things in 1 process in 1 pasuk, all the specifications in 1 pasuk, and then do your generalization, the 2nd pasuk. Why is there a 3-step process in the psukim when you're only doing a 2-step process? Then why in the world did the Torah say after it said the generalization in the klal? Because I want you to be like Chachamim and learn specifically. I'm telling you, the Torah is telling me, don't do a ribun amiyot. What happens when you do a ribun amiyot? Rabbi Isai, you only remove 1 item from the cart. I want you to do a prat klalu prat, and then I'm going to remove more items from the cart. Oh, so if I'm learning mechartzan v'adzag that it's a prat, so how in the world I also learn that you need 2 seeds? That's a special chiddush, and I need special words for that. How do I have extra words? Be consistent. Do everything in plural, chartzanim and zogim, or do it in singular, mechartzan and zag. Be consistent. So why did the Torah mix and match 2 chartzanim and 1 zag? So the Gemara is basically telling us 2 things. First of all, from the placement and the position of the words, I learn 1 thing, and from the language of the words, I learn another thing. From the fact that the Torah used the interesting lashon, plural and singular, I learned this halacha that I need to eat 2 skins. 2 seeds and 1 skin, according to Rabbi Yossi, and we said he goes like Rabbi Yossi. And from the placement of the words, from the fact that it came after a klal, and it wasn't in the original pasuk, I also learned another chiddush that we're going to go with a prat, klal, prat. Mendy, you're okay? Everything good? Okay, great. Says the Gemara, V'Eliezer the Dorish miyat v'riba, prat uklal uprat minole. So the very simple way to learn the Gemara's question, minole, is more like, so where in the world does Rebbe Eliezer learn something like we have on the screen, a prat, klal uprat? If he's learning a miyut and a riboy, so where else in the Torah does he invoke Rabbi Shmuel's midas? Everybody holds such a thing called a prat, klal, prat. Or we like to say klal, prat, klal, whatever. That's why it's a little confusing. Over here it's a different order. But Rebbe Eliezer is saying ribu miyut. So Taisus explains a little bit over here that really Rebbe Eliezer usually does learn a klal, prat, klal. But when you learn something from the final words, michartzan v'adzag, so now he's left with two words, so then he flips it into a miyut and a riboy. But usually Rebbe Eliezer likes to go with the klal u'prat u'klal thing. And where do we find it? Omer Ravo nafkalu mahaykra v'chiiten ishel reu chamor shor se. Here, chart 38. Chitin ishel reu chamor shor se. Rabbi said, look at this by yourself. You don't need me. Chamor shor se is like what? It's very specific. It's like a steak. Then he says v'chol behema. Anything. Lishmar. This is tricky. Why is Lishmar specific? So Rashi over here explains, and we don't even go with Rashi, but Taisus doesn't talk about it so much. Rashi says, because what kind of animal could you watch? You cannot watch a lion or a bear, says Rashi. Those are two examples Rashi gives. So Mela, it's more specific. I'm breaking it down to a domesticated animal. That's like Rashi. So here's a case of a klal pratu klal, where the Torah says, listen, if I watch your animal, very specifically talking about a chamar, a shar, a seh, very generalized, all behemoths, then again I go down, then I have to make a shvuah if it got lost, stolen, whatever the halacha is in the pasuk over there. Lishmar, sorry, is a prat. V'chol behema klal. Lishmar chazor parat. Pratu klal prat, yatadon. Ella, kena prat. What do we take out? We take away karka. If I gave you to watch my house, a shtar, a document, a slave, which is similar to karka. Okay, so I take away things. That's where you're asking me where he learns the klal prat the klal. Here, Rav Amar Nafkele. I'll tell you where he learns the klal prat mahaykra. Another example. V'im min. So this is interesting. What do you bring in for an oyla? Min hatzoin. So min is, it limits. Min means from the. It doesn't say tzoin. It should say v'im tzoin karbana. If I bring from my flock a carbon. No, min hatzoin. There's something that I can't bring. I can only bring some of my tzoin. So prat hatzoin. Now my entire flock klal ksavim v'izim chazo parat. Sometimes it says, mashma, it's a certain age. Okay. Prat klal prat, yatadon al kena prat. And if you look at the rush over here, I didn't see it in Taisus, it could be it does, but I saw it in the rush, that it comes to exclude nirva, an animal that a person did an aveira with. Or, there's another aveira an animal could do. You take a shar and a chamar, and you plow them together. But, you start off being specific. You cannot bring a carbon oyla from an animal that had an avera, and then you're going to knock it down and go prat, klal prat, that only an avera that happened within the animal itself. Revia happened with the animal itself. Charisha, the animal didn't do an avera. Nothing happened with the animal. You put the ox next to a donkey and they plowed. Did something touch the animal? No. So I'm going to take that one off. Why, if you look closely, it's hard to see, but I like to put by the psukim where they're from, Perik Aleph, Pasuk Yud. So yes, why did you jump to Pasuk Yud? You went to the 10th Pasuk in the Chumash Vayikra. Why? Check this out. There's another Pasuk, even closer to the beginning. The second Pasuk in Parashas Vayikra. Ha behema. Min habeima, sorry, min habeima. You're right. Min is the specification. Habeima generalization. Habakar outside. Chazor bar brak lau prat yatadon elokena prat. That what? I'm going to be mimayit. I'm going to say only domesticated animals, and not, let's say, a deer. And then I say behema. No, everything. And then I'm going to say bakar and sign. Oh, so what does it come to exclude? I love this, Rabbi. I love it. It comes to exclude. Check this out. For this, Noam's not here. I got to tell you because this is just for Mendy and Avi. So the Hagdama to this is that Taisus says Shar Bar. Shar Bar is a buffalo. So because we're in one of these sugyas, I got to take a break here and I got to tell you this Maaser. We were on the safari. Yishkoich again for taking me for my 50th birthday. Thank you. So one of the highlights, especially for Noam, this was his highlight. We're sitting in front of a bunch of lions eating a buffalo. And they're eating and eating and eating and eating, and there's literally nothing left. And they're licking the last bones, licking. All of a sudden we hear a commotion, and the lions get up and start running for their life. And one of them had the head still and ran off with the head. What happened? We think, we're not a big mumchim in this, but it seemed to us very obvious, that the mother of this buffalo came back. And you can see in the video, she goes to the makom of the death. There's nothing left of the animal. Pasha, nothing there, just blood. You can see it's red. And she sniffs and sniffs and sniffs. And she was doing these faces of tsar. We were able to see. You might not see it in the video. Tsar, tsar, tsar. The lions took off for the life. The lions were scared for their life. And they went in circles. In circles, we saw this. We were watching them for 10 minutes. Noam said it was the most amazing thing to see an animal be mitzvah over the loss and grieving. Grieving almost like a levaya. They went all in a circle around the dead. Here it is. Rabbi side, nothing to do with our sugya, but everything to do with our sugya. Here goes. That's the mother sniffing the thing. You could even hear my auras in the back and Noam. And the second you'll see the lion running away with the head. Gary might have when they come running from somewhere else. You see, huh? Yeah, this is what I had this morning. That's the lion walking away with it. The lion ran away over there with the Gary's so much better, but I'm not going to bother Gary at 4 in the morning. Broke, fighting gegangen Chas. It had everything to do with everything. And there's only 3 minutes left of the shot. Right. So Taisus says that it comes to exclude a shor bar. Let's go back. What's going on here? This buffalo or a boisai is a behema. It's kosher. But it's a chaya. It lives in the jungle. It's the lions are scared of it. Head to head, a lion will never start out with it. It gives him one poke, the lion is dead. So you think it's a chaya. It is kind of a chaya. You can't bring it as a carbon. No, it's a behema l'kol halachas. You can't eat it tzchelev, there's no kisei adam, but you can't put it on the mizbeach. You ever saw somebody bring a buffalo to the mizbeach? No. Why? Because of this problem.
Sure, you could bring.
Sure.
You could bring. Prat.
I thought.
Prat.
No, prat means you could?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I'll look into it. 1 minute, let me think. Prat, klal, prat. You're right. It's the prat over here is what you could bring a shor bar. If you could get your hands on one of those and muscle it down. Omalei. Minai like it lemishmano. You know why I didn't bring the second pasuk of Vayikra? The mahasam avamino habehema. The word habehema chay b'chlal behema. Because chaya is included in the behema, and I can't be mimayit all the chayas. We just turned to Amud Beis Hatzlacha. Aryeh Leib, and LiZaicher bad Bracha, Hatzlacha for the HBA and the members of the HBA Group and their families. Amen. Amalei. What are you saying that a chay is included in an animal, in a behema, a domesticated animal? Haksiv bakar side. You can't include a chay in there. Vaveli prat uklal. Now prat uklal. Prat maybe viata don elokeina prat. When you have a prat, klal prat, it has to be similar to the prat. And over here, the specification, bakar tzayin, is a domesticated animal and not a chaya. Uminalon dahachiu. How do you know this idea of prat, klalu prat? Let's see. Yeah. Oh, here we go. Sorry. Klal, prat, klal, and prat, klal, prat. They're very similar and almost the same. By the way, at the end of the sugya, we're going to see there's a slight difference between the two, but how do you know this idea of prat, klal, prat, the one on the bottom? When you have two prats and one klal. We're talking about Maaser Sheni. So, as Jonathan said, Maaser Sheni, on year 125, a person has crop, he gives 10% to himself. Now, what does that mean? He has to bring all the fruit to Yerushalayim. He can't go, it's too much to bring all that fruit to Yerushalayim. So he transfers it into money, and the money becomes Kaddish. He goes to the restaurant in Yerushalayim. Question. He could buy anything in Yerushalayim. He could buy steak, beer, everything. Can he go to a fish restaurant? There's a Gewaldic fish restaurant. I once went with the Olam above a gas station in Yerushalayim. I have no idea. It's still there? Havat Hayam. Thank you. 10%, 10D1. But could I go to this restaurant in Yerushalayim with my Maaser Sheni money? It's fish. It's fish. There was two people sitting on the Mizrach. One guy filled up his plate, he's fressing away. The other Rav didn't touch a thing. So the one that was eating a lot, he looked at the other Rav, he's like, why are you staring at me? He says, I couldn't be Mizgaber on my Taivas Achila, and you couldn't be Mizgaber on your Taivas Akavad. Eat it up with a Taiva. Klal, anything. Now I was more specific. I narrowed it down to these things. But it says, Bakar Tzon, you hear? Tzadik. Bakar Tzon. Oh, anything you want, you could buy in Yerushalayim. Klal u'prat u'klal. Yatadon elakena prat has to be similar to the prat. Ma prat mefoyesh pri mepri is something that grows an animal, comes out from another animal. A fruit comes out from another fruit. Ugeduli karka grows from the ground. I've called pri mepri vigiduloi kargiduli karka. What does it come to exclude? Salt, water, and ahavat. What's it called? Ahavat hayam. No fish. But this is a man that says fish. Yeah, okay, fine. But according to here, this is what we do with the klal, pradu klal. Michti klal, pradu klal, ke'ein protadaininon. So at the end of the day, when I have a klal prat, I say, here, you see, this is the Gemara's question. What is the difference if I have a klal, prat, and a klal, or I just have a klal and a prat and I don't have a klal afterwards? Isn't the outcome going to be the exact same thing? Prat narrows it down. Look, I can't eat fish, or not, whatever. But in this case, I have a klal and a prat. Buy me everything to eat. Get me a steak. So what's the outcome? Steak. And if I say, get me everything to eat, get me a steak, get me everything to eat, isn't that the same? Are both cases not the same? That I have to get him a steak? No, you don't have to get him a steak. You can get him also a schnitzel. You can get him a hot dog. But if it's a klal, pratu klal, I have to be something very similar to a steak. But when it's a klal prat, it has to be a steak and nothing else. That's a big difference. Huh?
Why not just have a prat? What do you need the first 12 for?
Good kasha. I don't know. I like this guy. He has good kashas every day. Visu prat uklal. We have to find out. Maybe by the end of the sugi we'll figure it out. Visu prat uklal. Visu prat uklal uprat. Ke'ina prat eninan. Now you have this one. It's a way. Oh, I did the charts here. Maybe they're not necessary, Yosef. Because here, klal uprat, get me a steak, and I get a steak. It's vey. Klal prat klal. What's the difference? Okay. We're already at 47. Prat, klal, prat. What is the difference as the Gemara between these two things right here? When you have a sandwich, when the klal, there's two klals in one prat, or two prats in one klal. Now, when you hear somebody saying it in a shiur, it's so confusing. Klal, prat, klal, or prat, klal, prat. It doesn't, I don't think it works so well. But anyways, what is the difference? Says the Gemara, very, very simple. V'su, prat, klal, prat, ke'ina prat eninan. We anyways, if there's two prats on either end, two prats in one klal, we say it has to be similar to the steak. Prata basra, mayahani. Then what is the final, maybe this is not the Gemara's question yet. What's the last prat? Ilav prata basra havamin nasa klal musav ala prat. I would think if it's just a prat and a klal, you know what I would do? I would say everything. He said steak, and then he said bring me anything to eat. So anything means anything. Falafel, gefilte fish with grain, herring, liver, all the stuff that the Ashkenazim love. Even gala. No, not that. Okay. MMA what? I'll think that a Nazir, in our sugi, a Nazir is chayiv, even on leaves, shoots, everything. Umichdi, now here goes. Umichdi, train klali prata, or train prata klala. What's the difference? You have two klaus and one prat, or two prats and one klal? Here, that's what's on the screen now. What is the difference? Says the Gemara, if you have two clouds and one prat, I'll just say balpeh, very, very simple. Look at the bottom line. It's more specific. It's double the specification. He was specific twice. So you have to be a little bit more, you have to narrow down his generalization a little bit more. Why? Because he's specific twice. Whereas in the top line, you have to narrow down his specification, but not as much. So if it's two things, it's 2 steps away or 1 step away kind of thing. It's a very dakisdika thing. In steak, it would be, it has to be something that's also protein, so schnitzel is good. It also has to be something that's sold in a restaurant. 2 things. Or no, just 1 thing, protein. So if it's protein, maybe peanuts and I don't know what. Soy. Even 1 thing that's similar, marbinon. But if it's 2 specifications, if it's similar to it in 2 ways, then I can include it. So schnitzel is great. If it's only similar to it, not. If you only have 1 prat and 1 klal, what happens? We said, this was the one exclusion to everything. If you have a specification, get me a steak, and then a generalization, what happens? You get him anything. Dr. Factor checked out. Checked out. Why are you checking out on me? I'm asking you a question. Look, Rabbi is going to answer from his sleep. If a person says, get me a steak, and then he says, get me anything to eat, what did he mean? What do you think he meant? Forget what the Gemara thinks. What do you think? Give me steak, get me anything. No! I didn't want you to... Wrong answer. Go back to sleep. Now he's being very general. He erased everything. So, Michti prat uklal, nasa klal moisav ala prat, it adds everything, it becomes very generalized, visrabi kol mili, and then you can bring anything to eat. Umiyat, viriba. Should we keep on going? Yeah, let's keep on going. Umiyat viriba nami, once we're late. Umiyat viriba nami, riba kol. If you have miyut, riba, now we added everything, visrabi kol mili. Ma'ika be miyat viriba la prat uklal. So check the final chart, yeah? We got to do 50 charts today. Like this might be the last one, but anyways, the question is, Rabbi Isai, what is the difference between a miyot and a ribui and a prat and a klal? It's the same words, the same things, right? If you start with a specification and generalization, marbin and afilu alim v'lulavin, the difference would be, and it's hard to understand this, but they're trying to talk about it. The only difference is, if I learn it this way, I call it these words, I call it a prat and a klal, then in the zeros I'm going to add leaves and shoots, umid v'riba, but if I go to the mid and riba, then I'm going to add lulavim in, alin loy. Taisus explains, we're talking about different types of alin, we're talking about harder alin. Boys, I have a wonderful day.